Hey everybody, what's up? What's up? Hey. Okay, you guys. So let's go ahead and get ready to share this feed. We're gonna have some fun tonight. I got a really good girlfriend of mine on here, and you definitely want to get. As a matter of fact, you're gonna want to get a pen and a paper because I got my pen and paper right here, child. Because when I tell you, this is a bad chick talking about stretching yourself. So let's go ahead and share this feed and tell your friends, tell your team members, tell your guests to jump on here. I think, especially right now with everything that's happening, we really are going to have to be aggressive about creating the destiny and creating the dream that we always live, because when things happen like what's happened, it can really create a lot of pressure. And it can also make you draw back from, the things that you've really been called to do. And so Teneshia here is, when I tell you, she is anointed on dealing with the imagination and help you to build your dream. I met her several years ago. Teneshia, did I meet you at Bishop? I think I met you first at Bishop Jake's Mega Fest.
Yeah, I think it was first Bishop Jakes, and then we connected again at the Steve Harvey conference because you were speaking and your husband was speaking. But it was an immediate sisterhood. So I really can't remember not ever knowing you.
I know, right? It seems like we've been knowing each other forever. So I just want to say thanks for jumping on here and playing with me tonight, girl. We're gonna have some fun. So let me kind of set this up. First of all, Teneshia has done some really amazing things. She like, when I think about dreams, I think the first person I thought about was Teneshia. And some of you guys know I was supposed to have Alex on here tonight, and my brother's catching the healing. And I said, okay, who else can come on here that's really bad, that's really done some big things in the industry? And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to have on Teneshia. So I'm just going to give her a little introduction, and then we're going to start jumping into this thing with some conversation. But I'm really proud of what she's been able to accomplish. I heard her speak, as a matter of fact, at Steve Harvey's Act Like a Success conference. And I was like, once again, I had already kind of connected with her, but the way she articulated and helped to develop your imagination, because guys, a big part of your success is your imagination. And so I'm going to just share a couple pictures with you. These are just some of the things. My bad, y'all. This is her, where she took a picture. So tell us really quickly, what was this all about, child? Because you got a chance to meet one of our heroes, okay?
Okay, I'm still screaming from this moment. This was a few years back when I spoke at BET's Leading Women Defined, and we were all surprised when our forever First Lady came to the conference as a speaker. And I was blessed and fortunate enough to get a chance to not only meet her, but take a picture with her. So yes, this is still my screaming moment, forever fangirl moment that I was delighted to share with you.
I love it. And you were slaying too, baby. And of course, First Lady Michelle was too. Y'all look really good. Okay, so talk to us about this.
So this picture is one of my favorite. It is from the Dream Project. So the Dream Project is an initiative that I started 7 years ago, really centered around supporting professionals, creatives, entrepreneurs to take their dreams from idea to reality. A part of that is bringing in iconic dreamers. We've curated over 200 speakers. And of course, as many of you all know, I think one of the ultimate dream icons is Mr. Magic Johnson. And he came in and did a keynote for us at Dream Project a few years back. And next to me, I better say this, even beyond Magic, is my partner in business and life, my husband of 11 years, Michael Warner.
Woohoo! Yes, girl. Yes. I love it. Okay, tell us about this, because you sitting there, you with the Braxtons.
Yes. So this was really fun. I'm the founder of Igami Group, which is a multicultural agency that's based in New York. And we work with Fortune 50, Fortune 100 brands to basically work with them to engage multicultural audiences. Sometimes that includes me doing spokesperson deals with celebrities. And this was one of my favorite deals with not only one Braxton, but 5 Braxtons for Gain, which, you know, we all love Gain, known for its favorite scent. But I don't know if you know this, the Braxtons, one of their favorite household brands of all times is Gain laundry detergent. So all of them, they were ideal to do this celebrity spokesperson deal with. And we had a pleasure working with them for a number of years as spokesperson for for Gain.
Love it, love it. Okay, girl, I see you doing your thing on the rooftop. What's this about, child? I love this picture.
So this picture is actually at Igami Group, my agency's 10-year celebration. And Joel, I know you can appreciate this. The entrepreneur journey is not for the faint of heart. So when we celebrated a decade, I was going to have a big party, whether I was by myself or with 100 or 200 people. So this is me out on the rooftop, like straight getting my Beyonce dance on.
I love it. I love it. Now, this is my favorite, last but not least.
Yes. So this is what I would say is one of my latest creations, one of my dream babies, the big stretch. And so as we get into this discussion, you guys are going to learn that I am indeed a dreamer at heart, a dreamer that has been on a dream journey for over a decade. So in this book that was actually published with McGraw-Hill in November of 2019, I got an opportunity to share my own dream journey, some of the things that I've learned about dreaming and stretching, as well as, do you remember I mentioned the Dream Project? I got a chance to pull all the key learnings from those 200 iconic dreamers, whether it was Magic Johnson, Kathy Hughes, Jennifer Fleiss, Lovey Ajayi, Yvonne Orji, Issa Rae. I mean, the list goes on and on. After talking with all of these dreamers, I really found that there was a blueprint that all of them somewhat follow. And I aim to distill that blueprint in this book, The Big Stretch, and give you all a dreamer's blueprint to take those ideas from idea to reality.
Absolutely. I love that. And those of you that are tuning in, I want to encourage you, first of all, just to share this feed because, you know, if you follow me and anything that I do, you know that I'm big on wanting to empower and educate people across the board, especially women of color, because I feel like for so long, we have not trusted our own financial instinct. And all of us have an instinct, and we've not really fully gone after our dreams aggressively. We've waited on somebody else to come and kind of tell us what we should be doing or how we should be thinking. And so tonight, I wanted to design this to help you to create an imagination, to start to really use your imagination, probably in ways that maybe you haven't used it in a long time, or maybe you use it here or there. But I really wanted to create a space for everyone up under the sound of my voice. After tonight, I believe that there's going to be a serious impartation, that you're going to get the nuts and bolts of the things that you need to be doing to make sure that you're using your imagination the way that God intended, so that you can begin to create the life that he intended for you to live. Because at the end of the day, he's not going to come down from heaven and make you do anything. If you're going to walk into the things that God has called you to walk into, you're going to have to make a decision. And so I just want to encourage you. I know it's late, but for a lot of people, y'all up late anyway, watching Netflix, child, turn that off and get on here so you can get your imagination right. You can get your mind right and your thinking right. Some of you that have been watching that have been maybe saying, you know, I'm thinking about partnering. You need to stop thinking and you need to partner, because so much, Teneshia, and I know you believe this, so much of who we become are the relationships that we have, right? Wealth relationships help you to make wealth decisions, help you to get wealth results. You can't just want to go for the results without making sure your alignments are right. So The Big Stretch, man, I'm so proud of you with that book. It's an amazing book. You were like the perfect person to write it. And you heard her. She has a blueprint of all these highly successful people that you and I know, watch on TV and all of that, the blueprint for that. So go ahead and just kind of crack into, I love how you kind of deal with, the land of the familiar and going into the land of unfamiliar. And we see a lot of people having to pivot. The people that don't pivot, unfortunately, those are going to be the people that get left behind. So just kind of talk to us about that.
Well, let's start with the definition of the stretch. So out of all of those dreamers that I spoke with and interviewed, as well as what I know for myself, in every dreamer's story, at some point on a page, you will see that dreamer said yes to the stretch. And so let's start with the definition of the stretch. The stretch is basically your willingness to step outside of your comfort zone and move toward your dreams. The stretch is the willingness to never give up. It's your willingness to even sometimes be called crazy as you pursue that dream. And so know that the stretch is the expansion that will be necessary of you to become the best version of yourself. So I think we should start there with just the definition. And Jewel, I mean, I'd love to hear from you on your journey. I bet you stretch over and over again, right?
Girl, over and over and over again. And I don't think it ever stops. And I think for the people that stop stretching, those are the ones that I'm concerned with right now. This COVID thing that happened, not only was it on one end definitely very devastating, but also, Tanisha, it exposed either our willingness to change, it exposed our unwillingness to change, not just from how we care for ourselves, our hygiene, protecting our health, but also with how we communicate with the world, whether or not we'll get on a Facebook, or whether or not we'll get on a Zoom, or whether or not we'll start to make those little small pivots in our business. Because if we don't, then you end up being that person that they used to be on, right? Or they used to be this if you don't keep pivoting.
Absolutely. And just bringing it back, this conversation to where we are today, right? So the second week in February, I actually had the opportunity to partner with Pastor Sarah Jakes. And you guys know she's a rock star. She was out in the market doing a tour around Refuse to Lose. And I actually had a segment that talked about the book. And a part of the knowledge that I was saying is, I know, right? Remember when we saw each other in Nashville?
Girl, you did that. You and Pastor Sarah did that.
After we all shouted and almost fell out and the Holy Spirit had taken over. So on that segment, Jewel, if you remember, I talked about, the willingness to fight the obstacles that stand between you and your dream. I talked about expecting the unexpected. A part of the stretch is actually being a dream warrior, and it's being willing to fight those obstacles that will stand between you and the dream. And of course, I lived this, and we were talking it, and thousands of women heard this, but little did I know, coming back to New York City, we were going to be facing the obstacles that we're in now with COVID-19 landscape. So I think for all of the women that are listening, this is a moment in time that's going to challenge you to say, how bad do you want it? Are you willing to stretch? Are you truly that yes for the dream? If you think back to New Year's Eve, how many of us, Jewel, was like, yes, 2020 vision, yes, double anointing. And we started out with like the 2020 vision and we were all hyped, but no one but God saw this COVID-19 landscape. So ladies, for all of you that are zoomed in right now, I want to know, are you still that willing yes to what God has called you to do in 2020? And Jewel and I tonight want to make sure that we partner with you, that you have no other choice but to be a willing yes, even in the midst of the obstacles that we're all facing right now.
Yes, because even in the midst of every obstacle, when there are pain points, greatness always comes out.
Yes.
Of those obstacles, purpose. I mean, here you are, touring the world with Pastor Sarah Jakes and working with, so many amazing, iconic people. You're iconic yourself, clearly, right? But, so when you get, I want to dig into a little bit the big stretch. I want to talk about maybe some key points in that book that somebody that's watching tonight, man or woman, that, is at that point of decision and they're like, okay, I know I don't want to stay where I'm at. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I got the courage to go where I need to go. How do they need to start using their imagination? What are some of those things in the book? Because that book is dope.
All right, let's dive in. Here's what we're going to cover tonight. The 4 Ds of stretching. And we're going to start with phase 1. You got that pen, Jewel?
My pen, girl, yes.
We're going to start with phase 1, which is dreaming. Right. And so, number 1, I feel that our imagination, it is our superpower. It's one of the greatest gifts that God has given human beings. Mm-hmm. Through your imagination, you actually get an opportunity to preview what's to come. I want you to really pause and think about that. Through your imagination, God allows you to preview what's to come. I also think it's through your imagination that God will actually reveal to you what is his plan and purpose for your life. It's so important in the dreaming phase that as an individual, you sharpen your tools on how do you access that imagination? How do you access basically hearing from God? There's a section in the dreaming part that I talk about understanding your ideal dream environments. And so you need to be aware of where do you hear from God most clearly, and then be intentional to actually put yourself in those environments. So for me, I hear from God extremely clearly in nature. I learned this over a period of time. So I will unplug and actually go away into scenic environments, the mountains, nature. I'm intentional to do that just to listen to what is it that God is saying to me in this season. Now, right now, we are unable to travel for many of us in this particular landscape. So even taking a step further, what do you need to do in your homes to create your silent space to hear from God? My girlfriend recommended to me the Calm app, right? Because my mind is always going, and that's another whole story. But through Calm app, there are scenic sounds. You can hear nature. Let's go back old school. I have a prayer closet, and sometimes I have to go in there and just sit and block it all out and say, okay, God, what is it that you want to say? So for all of the listeners, we kind of have been given this opportunity to truly reset. God has placed the entire world on pause. So make sure you take advantage of this time to create those dream ideal environments in your home to hear and tap into your imagination and actually listen to God. So that's something that's very important in the dream phase. Also, when you catch these glimpses of what's to come in your imagination, get you a good old dream notebook journal. I got one right here beside me right now. And this is one that I've been working on for probably a year, but it says God's ideas. So I'm very clear. Let's see. I'm trying to show you. There you go. These are not even my ideas. This is basically me listening and saying, God, what do you want to co-create with me through my life? So making sure that you're journaling your ideas. You also need to know that every idea is not going to be for right now. There are many things, even this book itself, The Big Stretch. God gave me the word for The Big Stretch in 2012. It did not come to fruition for another 7 years. That's why it's important to keep a dream journal, because he will set the divine time for that dream to actually come to pass. So giving yourself that time to imagine, giving yourself the time to dream in color. I always like to say the biggest killer of a dream if you start to think about how prematurely. You're imagining and God's giving you all of these ideas, and then your logic kicks in and you say, well, how am I going to do that? The how prematurely will stop you from actually allowing the dream to be as big as God would have it be. I did a vision board exercise, Jewel, with my mother a few years back, and she wanted to travel to Europe. She wanted to go to Paris. And so I had this bright idea that when we were doing the vision board exercise, I would give her images of Paris, and I assumed she would put it on her vision board. She kept skipping over the images. And I said, why are you skipping over this? This is a vision that you want to come to pass. She started to think about how prematurely. She said, I can't afford that this year. Little did she know, I already purchased the tickets for her and had them at this vision board party. So I think God is like that with us, where he's the ultimate anointing, the anointed one. He has the superpower. Maybe he has a way to bless us with the dream, but we start to put the how on through our power so early that he's like, I can't even give you the superpower because you're not believing in the possibility. So that's another big lesson as well in the dream phase. So I'll pause because, girl, you got that sister girl.
Look, that is good. I love what you said about, well, number one, your imagination is your superpower. That is strong. Because if you think about it, and this is why we can't just sit up and think about where we are all day. You have to get your imagination beginning to work with your future. God to show you a blueprint. Where am I headed? And then I love what you said. Understand your ideal dream environment. That really spoke to me. Because when we do family vacations, I like to rent these fabulous, opulent, extravagant mansions. Girl, anywhere. We went to LA one time, beautiful hills of LA. We went to beautiful mansion there. Then we went to Miami, beautiful mansion off of Millionaire's Row. Then we went to Arizona, Scottsdale, and I like to, and then I fly in the cook, but I had an imagination, girl, right? I fly in the cook because I don't want any of us having to cook or clean, and she stays with us on the property, and I give her a meal plan for the whole week. But this is what I want to say. I had to use my imagination because if I would have just been thinking like regular vacation, we would have probably been staying in a hotel somewhere. But when Airbnb started, I said, I want to experience. God has blessed us with a beautiful 13,000 square foot home that I'm in right now. But I wanted to experience multiple mansions all over the world. So, and then I wanted to experience, God's blessed us with a great staff here. But I said, when I go to our different homes that we own, or whether we vacate, I want the housekeeper. I want the cook because I want to enjoy the experience. So when you said your ideal environment, that really resonated with me really strong. And I want you guys, as you're listening tonight, you guys need to share this feed. Somebody needs to get up out their bed. It's not time to sleep, right? But I want you to really start, even as she's speaking, I want you to start dreaming. I want you to think about what is your ideal environment. I love what Teneshia said. She said, the mountains, nature, maybe a nature walk. That's her ideal environment. You need to tap into what is your ideal environment. When you get there, what are wealth triggers, I like to call, that make you say, I'm going further. I'm doing more. I can have it all. I deserve it. So I think those are my big thing. And then I like the last thing you said, is that a big killer of a dream is thinking about the how. Take away the how and just believe, because if you put the how in there, and we've all done it, I've done it, and you start thinking, oh, well, maybe I need to back it up. And God's like, no, go further in your dream life. So that's great. Take us further, girl.
All right. So the last point that I'll make in the dreaming phase, which I want to say this, Jewel, what I just experienced from you, and for the audience that are listening, you dream so freely. So the fact that you even had the idea, I'm going to go rent mansions everywhere. Um, the average person is not thinking about going on vacation and then staying in this opulent mansion. So to me, I experience freedom in your imagination is so expanded. You just inspired me to up my dream game. So iron sharpens iron, ladies that are listening. I hope you see Jewel as this expanded dreamer that was like just throwing out, yes, I rented a mansion in Miami, then I rented a mansion here. So you just up my dream game too.
Each other, girl, because you show up.
So the last point that I want to make in the dreaming phase, I talk about a dream detox. And this is making sure that your mind, body, and spirit is ready to birth the dream that God is giving you. Again, I really do feel like this quarantine is the ultimate dream detox environment for you to be reflective. In the dream detox, it's about intentionally feeding your spirit. So making sure you're checking in with your resources and information that you're listening to make sure that it's feeding your spirit and belief in what's possible. Your body, being intentional to know that our body, this is the temple. So we have to take care of that. And again, I can tell you, I am not perfect in this. Even myself inside of this quarantine example, it has taken me a minute to say, okay, let's go with the body. You got to start taking care of yourself. Another thing is dreamers have to identify your champions and your bullies. And I want to distinguish the difference. So your dream champions, this is someone within your network that when you share your dream, they're going to reflect back to you nothing but potential. They're going to reflect back to you that you can do this. So I want you to even make an audit of your relationship and who can you put in a dream champion bucket? Is it your girlfriend? I got a good old family, best friend, BFF text strand. That's my dream team. That's my crew. I know they're probably listening right now. My husband is one of my biggest champions. I can say, babe, I want to go to the moon. And he's like, when we going? How you going to get there? He's going to reflect back to me like, you got this. You can do this. So knowing who your champions are, take an audit during this time. So you know your champions are the place where you can trust a dream vision. Everyone cannot be trusted with the vision that God has given you. Sometimes that may mean your close circle and network can't be trusted. So oftentimes the dream that God will give you, it's outside of your comfort zone. So as you start stretching into where God is leading you and you're disrupting your comfort zone, you're also going to be disrupting the comfort zone of the circle around you. Come on, they can have you in a box. You're supposed to be this person. You're supposed to do X. And as you start expanding, stretching outside of that box, and you disrupt the comfort zone of others that are sometimes even close to you, they will actually try to protect you and box you in, border you in based on how they define you, not based on who you're expanding and becoming. So that's key. And then the last point will be just like you have to know your dream champions, you also need to know who are your dream bullies. And when you hear the term bully, it's not bully in your typical way that you think about a bully, someone that's intentionally wanting to harm you. But your dream bully can be someone very close to you that's trying to protect you from what they perceive as danger as you expand and stretch outside of the comfort zone. So, Joel, you already know this. One of my favorite people in the world, my BFF, my grandmother, her name's Norita Hearns. She is my girl. We talk every single day, but she's also my biggest dream bully. And I want you to let that sink in. And when I say that, my grandmother is going to give me advice based on her experiences, based on what she thinks is possible, right? So oftentimes she'll lean in to protect. Girl, you thinking about quitting that good job? Do you know how blessed you are to have that good job? You need to stay on the good job. Girl, You're thinking about moving to New York City and you don't know a soul. And so I learned 12 years ago, love my grandma, but she's not the place where I share my dreams. So also know who are your dream bullies. Put people in the categories accordingly and share your dreams based upon where they fit.
Ooh, child. That's a bad chick. Wow. That's why Steve Harvey had you and Pastor Jakes, baby. Okay. Dream detox. So we all need to be going through a dream detox. And at that time, feeding our beliefs and what's possible. So every time I talk to a dream champion, they feed the belief in the impossible.
Oh, that's good. Come through, Jewel.
I mean, right? But every time I talk to a dream bully, they make me believe that it's not really possible.
Absolutely.
Doing an audit, when you said do an audit of your relationships, I didn't see it coming. It's so true. Because like what I do is I teach people how to build a digital empire. I teach them how to trade foreign currency and cryptocurrency. And I'm driving belief and I'm sharing stories about these wonderful stories about people being able to leave their jobs after just 6 months, like people becoming 6 and 7 figure earners within 12 months, 24 months. And it's happening faster. People are becoming wealthier faster and younger. But then you have this mindset, this person's hearing this and they want to believe it because they want more, they're ready to go. But then they go back home or they talk to a dream bully and they say, you tripping, it's a scam.
That's good.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, you were ready to go. What happened? And so, but they didn't know, they were not aware. And this is what I love about The Big Stretch. And this is why I think everybody needs to get this book. It helps you to become more aware of your ideal environment and also your environment at large in which you are working in every day. Because what you become or what you don't become has everything to do with, are you auditing your relationships?
You breaking this down to a new level, girlfriend.
I'm so anointed. I mean, it's like, this is so good. So now talk about when a person starts reading your book. Now, you have a workbook or a template?
Yes. So it's 90 days to expand your dream. So the way that this book is broken down, it's actually broken down into the 4 phases, the 4 Ds of stretching: dream, design, dare, do. But each week, I'm actually giving you stories. I'm giving you a lesson and a topic. I actually showcase you an example with the Dream All-Star. So each week I'm featuring Dream All-Stars like the Magic Johnson, the Damon John, and others. And then what makes this book very different is there are downloadable exercises. You actually have real business exercises that you have to do on your dream week by week. So think Dreamers like P90X, like a workout program, a Dreamers boot camp, seriously, because you will be held accountable to do the exercises that are personal to you and your dream journey each week in the book.
Now, I'm telling you what, I just want to know this. If we were to do a book club, those of you that are on here, just put in the chat book club, because I really feel like the next 30 to 60 days are going to be very pivotal. Like, this time is either going to expose people or promote them. We really have to get our minds right. We really got to get our thought life right. We really got to get all of that right. So if you were to do the book, you can get the book on Amazon. If you guys wanted to be a part of a book club with Teneshia and I over the next couple of weeks, just put in the chat book club. I just want to get an idea because we might have to go, okay, Teneshia, can you just give us like an exercise? What would be something that you would tell them to do? Because you have the book and then you give them, they get a template too.
Mm-hmm. Well, number one, I want you to know, Jewel, I am so in. If you guys are watching this, like I seriously want you to know this is indeed an anointed moment in time. So you heard me say we finished the tour with Pastor Sarah on the first week in March. I think it was around March 6th. And then COVID-19 happened. And as an entrepreneur, I have been leading my company, supporting them in weathering this storm. So my best friend, Shalonda Soroyer, I think it was maybe like a week and a half ago, she texted me and she said, girl, it's time to go with the book. Like we need to get these quarantine dreams launched. That's what her text said. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I was so overwhelmed in all things, just making sure that the business is running. I texted her back and was like, girl, this got to go on a to-do list. Mm. But God was nudging since I got her text. And this was the first day that I told my assistant, okay, it's time to go. Let's start responding to some of the requests. It was like that nudge. I told her that today. And then, Jewel, I received your text like, can you come on and start talking to my audience tonight about dreaming? And I'm in tune with moments from God when I know you better be a yes, you better be obedient. And I was like, I'm in. It's midnight, 1 o'clock, whenever, Jewel, let's go. So I want everyone to know this listening. I am a willing yes to partner with Jewel to ensure that your dreams are birthed in this season. So I want you to come back. Every story that the enemy is planting in your mind right now, you're overwhelmed. The finances aren't there. We're in an economic crisis. So what? Enemy, you are a lie.
That's it.
You guys are anointed creations from God. He is able. And we want to birth your God dreams in this season. So, ladies, if you all, let's go.
Let's go. And brothers, we'll let you in too. I want you to put book club in the comments if you're in. Teneshia, you said something about daring.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of the phases as well. So daring. So think about the definition of the stretch is it's expanding outside of your comfort zone. If you are here, your dream is going to be like way, I don't know, I got to get this camera right. Just know that I'm way out there. It's outside of the zip code of your comfort zone. Let me say that again. Your dream is going to come to life outside of the zip code of your comfort zone. And so knowing that it's going to take a stretch outside of that comfort zone, inside of that will come daring moves. So the moment you start thinking about going outside of your comfort zone, our buddy fear shows up. Wait a minute, what are you doing? You need to protect yourself. It's unknown territory. So you have to develop a relationship with fear that says, you know, I know you're going to be here on the journey. However, you're not going to be the driver of this destination. It's going to require you to dare and step on the other side of fear. For me, what that has looked like over the years, when I came to New York City in 2003, I knew no one. I came with 2 bags, a Bible, and the prayer of Jabez. I left a good job at IBM Global Services, all in the name of following a dream. You guys, that was a daring season for me. That was a big stretch. So know if you're on this, the stretch will require you to dare. You ask about some of the exercises. Well, in the daring chapter, I have you do things like start to build your muscle against no, where you think about every possible no you may hear, and you actually are ready to pivot around the no. So you may have to be daring beyond the no. Another thing is being willing to make a big ask. You know, for a lot of us, that's very uncomfortable. Who am I to ask for that capital? Who am I to say, will you mentor me? Who am I to say, will you introduce me to this person that I know you know that I need to know? So I get you comfortable thinking about making that big ask when needed. There's another challenge in there called the uncomfortable challenge. And that's constantly challenging you to do things that will put you outside of the comfort zone so that being uncomfortable becomes your new comfortable state. Wow. We having too much fun tonight, Jewel.
Girl. Oh, that is so good. So it's the dream, then begin to design your life, dare, and then go into action.
Yes.
Because what stops a lot of people from ever moving into action saying, okay, I'm going to learn how to trade. Okay, I'm going to learn about this digital empire. I'm going to learn is that their dreams just aren't big enough.
That's good.
Because even if you don't like where you are, if you don't get to a point where you like, okay, bro, I'm about to just straight, this dream is so uncomfortable. This dream is so big that I'm going to have to do something that makes me uncomfortable in order to even ever achieve it. Because what I'm doing today is definitely not going to do it, right? That's definitely not going to do it, right? And those of you that are watching, some of you are watching right now and saying, you know what, I want to learn what you're talking about with the digital empire. Get on raisethebar2020.com, raisethebar2020.com. Or if you're watching this and somebody invited you on here, get back with them or, watch a watch party. If somebody's having a watch party, get back with that person that's doing a watch party. But I will say this, I think it is tremendously important that we really, really start dreaming again and that we start dreaming bigger and stronger. And so, Teneshia, this has been so good. I cannot believe we've been on here 30 minutes. I'm mad. I'm in my feelings, girl, because this right here, I'm like, wait. So just give us one more point on this big stretch, because I really know that there are a lot of people that are on here right now that are watching and they're in that point of starting to go towards this dream life and stretching. What would be just, I don't know, anything that you might want to leave with them before we get ready to wrap tonight?
Well, the last point that I want to make would be the last phase, which is do, where you started to go into this, Jewel, around the action. So again, in interviewing hundreds of dreamers, the do for the long term is what really separates icons from those that don't make it to the iconic stage. So it's easy to start in your own fire, but will you have the tenacity to go forward in the face of obstacles? So dreamers fight the giants that stand between them and their dreams. Dreamers are warriors. So if you're sitting here tonight, basically we're all tapping into our dream warrior. None of us expected some of the things that we're seeing in society, whether you're losing contracts, employment, your family is home, you all of a sudden have to teach your children. I mean, the obstacles are probably as broad as any of us in our lifetime has ever witnessed, right? So in order for you to get after that dream that God has placed in your heart, you're going to have to warrior. You're going to have to fight. You're going to have to put the gloves on for this one. This one's not going to be an easy reach. This one's going to require you to dig in deep and literally say exactly what Pastor Sarah had all of those women saying, I refuse to lose. So that's a point that I want to leave all of you with. It's time for us to step into the dream warriors that we are. You guys can fight these obstacles. We will be stronger on the other side. I like to think about pressure as nothing but like muscle building. So the pressure, all of it is just going to ultimately make us stronger on the other side. But we got to like do what we need to do right now as we're pumping the weight and the pressure to even see how strong we can become. So that's my final point. Like, ladies, it's time to step in the ring. Let's go.
Let's go. You really do. And I just said that. I said, that's why right now it's like whatever gangster you had in you, it's time to pull her out. Or pull him out, like for real. Like you got to be gangster through these times right here. You got to be gangster. Like seriously, you gotta have some hood in you, right?
Sure. I always say that every dreamer needs to have a bit of a thug in them. Listen, like a serious thug.
Like for real. So when that pressure try to come on you, you know what I'm saying? You push back on that thing.
Yes.
It can easily, you know, it's so interesting because my grandmother celebrated 96 years today. And, you know, of course, we can't see her. She's in Detroit. So you know, Facebook, you know, they pull up, you know, what happened in the past or whatever. So it pulled up 2 years ago when we were all in my grandmother's kitchen, my family, and we were there celebrating. Monica Ware wanted me to tell you what's up. Monica Ware.
Oh, good. Monica, that's a dreamer.
Yes, it is a dreamer. But she, so I saw this video and my grandmother, she's 96, so she's kind of like in and out or whatever, still in good spirits. And I just had so many amazing memories from her cooking me bacon and eggs, and she made me clothes for Sunday school. And I was just, you know, telling my husband, I said, you know, and my grandma's 96, so she's ready to go home to be with the Lord. She told me, she said, don't pray for me, stay here. I'm ready to go see Jesus. It's okay. But I was just saying, man, I miss like all those times with her because she had such an impact. She was an entrepreneur. I said, you know, I miss her. You know, when I saw the video, and then we did a virtual birthday party for her today. And so all my cousins and aunts and everything got on and we were singing happy birthday. And so we were going to give her words. So I was going to kick it off because I love doing words of affirmation. And so I started to give her words and I just started to cry. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just, these feelings of, you know, she's here, but still kind of missing that time with her and her being coherent because she was my first entrepreneur, and my other grandmother and my parents. And so I had all these like feelings come up or whatever. And so I had my moment, but then I snapped right out of it. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I said that to say that it's so important right now that you have relationships with people that, yeah, these people are human. They have feelings. We have things we deal with, right? But at the end of the day, we're not going to stay there. And so after this virtual party, and I recorded it, so I'll probably post it later. And I had words and all my cousins came on and had words. And she was kind of speaking out of turn because she was on 1 minute, I love all y'all. And another thing, she'd just say something like, you know, out of turn or whatever. And we kind of laughed about it. And afterwards, I felt myself like emotionally like what you're not about to do is be sad. That's what you're not about to do. But I could feel that whole, because I was already telling my husband about it this morning. So doing this virtual party for her, it kind of like connected these feelings of Facebook. It connected and I could feel, and it's okay to feel, but I could tell that these feelings were wanting to pull me right into a place that was not going to be an asset. And so this is why I love so much, Teneshia, what you've done. And, you know, it took me about 30 minutes because I was like, no, shake it off. What you're not about to do is be dealing with all of this. Like, she's alive right now. You have amazing memories from her. Be grateful that she got love today, even though it was virtual, because I would have liked to have been there, blah, 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 blah. But that's not where we're at, right? So I had to kind of talk myself through that. And that's what I want you guys to hear that are on here. The book, The Big Stretch, I think is so important in today's time, because even after COVID is kind of over, I think there's going to be more things that show up, right? I kind of really think the next thing is going to be in the internet, where it's going to some kind of way, there's going to be something that impacts our communication. So what I'm saying is that the time that we're in, we have to be clearer than we've ever been before.
Yeah.
We have to be stronger than we've ever been before. We have to connect with other people that have the same core values, that have the same objectives, that know that God has called me to great things. This wealth transfer is for me. And so I've got to become more aware of my thoughts, which is what the big stretch does. It makes you more aware of what you're imagining. And then it helps you to audit, like she said, your relationships. Where are the dream champions in your life? Where are the dream, bullies in your life? You're on this live because y'all know I'm a dream champion, period, end of the story, right? And I try to be transparent about moments that I have, but I don't allow those moments to dictate my life. There are simply moments that I've experienced, but then I move right back on to moving forward into my purpose. And so, Teneshia, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So y'all just gonna have to pray with us because I don't know really what it looks like. John Maxwell always says, just put an unformed idea out there and other people help come together and put it together. So we're just going to ask Holy Spirit to help us in this. But I do feel like we're supposed to do something. Maybe we'll do a 4-week something or another once a week. I don't know. So the book comes with templates.
Yeah, templates, exercises that are downloadable. So once you get the book, The Big Stretch, and you can go to thebigstretchbook.com, and that's where a lot of the digital exercises will be available for you for download. So the exercises are actually in the book, and they're also available electronically. So thebigstretchbook.com. And then, Jewel, I just want you to know I'm such a willing yes. This was divine. And for every listener, I want you to be grateful that you are under the leadership of a dream champion like Jewel, who is committed to bringing experts and other resources to you. So count me as a yes in your resource wheel. Let's get it popping.
Let's get it popping. Hey, let's go. I know, right? My kids will be like, Ma.
Oh, you gotta teach me. You had it too.
Well, listen, I love you guys. Make sure you get the Big Stretch book. They can go on Amazon and order the book, right?
Yes. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Target, anywhere books are sold.
And I think I want to say this last thing too. A lot of people that deal with, I think, past hurts, offenses, bitterness, this is going to help you get over that. Because at the end of the day, the bigger that I started to dream, the more that I allowed myself to be a Joseph the Dreamer or Esther the Dreamer, all those major dream champions that we saw, the less that stuff that happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago, yesterday, it lost its power over me.
Yes.
It really did. It's like God used my dreams to free me from every past hurt. And some of you have tried, some of everything. You didn't talk to everybody. You didn't do all of that, and praise God for all of that. But sometimes it's just time to say, you know what? I got to make my future much bigger than the noise of my past.
Ooh, you better preach,
girl. Because when that happens, everything changes, and you start manifesting, and then you start feeling so good about yourself. You start feeling such a sense of peace and such a sense of purpose, and you're like, my life is amazing, right? So anyway, I love you, girl. I'm gonna be in touch. We're gonna figure this out. God pray for us because we're figuring this out, child. But we're gonna do something with this because all of this right here, child, that big hey, let's go. I love y'all. Reach out to me. Those of you want to join trading, raisethebar2020.com. Holla at your girl, and I'll be back on here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. And then if you want to come pray with us, 7 a.m. on the Destiny Center Facebook page. Love you so much. God bless. Bye.